you feel like you're training as hard as you can, but you're not seeing the gains that you want to see, this video is for you. The wrestling culture is this very work culture, and I actually like that about it. It's very like blue collar culture, and you work for what you get, which is true, but at the same time, it leads to a lot of overtraining in wrestling, and overtraining leads to you not recovering correctly, you not being able to train hard as you want every single day, and you might feel like you're at 100%, but if your body's at 25% of what it could be, then you're not actually training at 100%. And then the last thing, which is unfortunate, it leads to a lot of burnout. And that's why we see youth wrestlers quitting once they get to like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, because they just don't have fun in the sport because of overtraining at a young age, which is not on them, it's more on their coach's fault, because as a youth wrestler, you don't really know what you're doing. So overtraining is gonna stop your gains in its tracks. It's just like a lifter. He's not gonna hit chest 7 days a week as hard as he can. He's gonna hit chest 1 to 2 times a week because there needs rest in between. It's the same thing with our wrestling. The biggest thing I see in a lot of wrestling is they just go live for so long every single day. And while yes, in a short period of time, this will get you a lot better, especially at the youth age. If you take a bunch of youth wrestlers and you absolutely just smash them against each other and go live forever, they're gonna get really good very quickly, because the ones that aren't very good are probably gonna quit or leave that practice, and the ones that are good are gonna thrive because they're more aggressive than everyone, they're meaner than everyone, and they just go out and attack, which is great. And yes, I do want youth wrestlers to win, but for a long distance scenario, which is what wrestling is, when you're 10 years old, you're not gonna be able to win a national title. You want to possibly look at it a different way. And while yes, I want them to have success at a young age, I also want them to have success in their future, and that's a little bit more important than winning a youth state title. So take it back a little bit on live, right? Stop overtraining so much, and then slow down and work on your technique, which is going to pay dividends in the future. It is a marathon, not a race. So how do we not overtrain? Pretty simple. Make sure you're recovering. It starts with that. If we're not recovering, it's going to be really hard to train. Even just working technique and stuff like that, your muscles break down, your body gets tired. So there's only so much you can wrestle in a day. It's not like, working your mind or something where you have this extra time that you can, really put in. You can study all day long. Now you might get some brain fuzz or something like that, but for the most part, it's not going to be physically exhausting where you can't do it. Wrestling is a physical sport, so you're only going to be able to do it so many hours a day, and recovery is important. That's sleep, eating right, staying hydrated. The second thing is your training routine, which hopefully you're in control of a little bit, or your coach has done some research and actually knows what he's doing, which is usually helpful. You shouldn't, like I said, we shouldn't be going live every single day. We should be slowing down and working on technique that's going to get us better. You can't work technique through hard drilling. You can't really focus in on the small details through hard drilling. So this is going to be quality over quantity. Our quality of reps is going to pay dividends in the future over the quality of reps. Now, not saying quality is not important, because you didn't do thousands of reps to perfect something. But if we do thousands of wrong reps, it's only going to get us sore, and we're not going to get very much out of it. And this could be a problem that you're seeing. Maybe you're doing a bunch of reps, right? And you're like, oh, why am I not getting better? Well, probably because they're crappy reps, and it's not going to work on the really good guys. This leads me to my next point, working the correct things. Now, again, hopefully your coach kind of keeps up with wrestling a little bit and is in tune with what's going on in wrestling right now and is constantly on the cutting edge of wrestling technique. That's hopefully. Otherwise, you got to take it in your own hands, watch some wrestling yourself, know what you got to work on. But this is going to help us slow it down and work on new techniques that are going to help us be better in the future. But we need to slow it down and hit quality reps first before we go to quantity. If I'm learning a new move, I'm not going to be able to hit it at 100% speed right away. So I need to focus on doing it right and then do it a whole bunch of times after that. Lastly, I'll say this because, this happens a lot because wrestling does have this like season, right? Every sport has a season, right? But during the season, a lot of times you see a lot of people plateau because they stop working on like getting better, and then in the summer either they don't train so they're not getting better, or they are training and they actually get a whole bunch better, but then they plateau again during the season, when hopefully it should be like just a 365-day process of just getting better. And hopefully there's going to be plateaus in getting better, but hopefully it's like a loop where it's like, we go down because we're working on a new skill, and then we plateau, and then we go up, and then we go down because we're working on a new skill, then we plateau, and then we go up. So hopefully it's that process. But a lot of people plateau during the season because they're just working on what they're best at, because they have these like missions every single week of win this tournament, then win this tournament, then win this tournament. And so they're constantly like trying to keep as sharp as possible. And the reality of it is we can only peak so many times. So we should be trying to peak at, you know, maybe high school state, Fargo, and then like maybe one other tournament. But your body just physically can't peak that many times. So it should be like we're sharpening our blades, you know, the entire year, and then like really refining them and making them like a finished product for these couple tournaments that are important to us. But we should be like learning new stuff all the time, even throughout high school season. Like even if that means we might not have the best Christmas tournament or something like that, that's fine as long as we kind of wrap it all up by state. I think Penn State does this the best with their guys. I know they guys kind of dominate all year round, but if you looked at like when they're wrestling at their best, it's probably the national tournament. And other colleges do this well too, but Penn State's a big example of that. And that's kind of what we should be looking at with our training. So I hope this video helps you a little bit. It's pretty simple. Don't overtrain, focus on getting better year round, and try to peak for a couple tournaments every now and then. Remember recovery, remember that it's a marathon, not a sprint, and that while some things may help you get better really, really fast in the short term, it's probably better to invest some time, go for the long term, especially if this is something you're passionate about.